What's going on, everyone? My name is Cynic, and welcome to episode number 29 here inside of the Is It Worth It series, inside of Infinite Warfare Zombies. Now, like always, in case you guys have missed out on any of the previous installments, there'll be a card in the top right-hand corner to take you to the entire playlist of every epic variant I've covered inside of Zombies up to date. So in case you guys are curious or interested in a particular variant and want to know more about that variant, then I strongly encourage you to check out that playlist and see all the weapons that I've covered so far. Anyways, with all of that out of the way, let's get started on the epic variant of today. Today we're going to be talking about the Atlas Artifice, which is a very interesting epic to say the least. Now, unfortunately, the only way to get your hands on the Atlas Artifice is through the Quartermaster's collection, meaning you can only get this weapon out of supply drops. But nonetheless, it's still nice to review weapons inside supply drops to let you guys know whether it's worth spending keys to aim specifically for this gun. Now, besides that, the Artifice is very interesting for two reasons. The epic trait or selling point of this weapon is improved smoke kit, which basically builds on top of the smoke drone underbarrel that's shot from this gun. To be completely honest, I never test this out. It's something that really only works inside of multiplayer, and as all of you guys know, I'm strictly a Zombies player, and the smoke aspect of this weapon does not work inside of Zombies, and unfortunately that doesn't make a difference whether if you're playing with the epic variant or the base variant. It just does not work regardless of what variation of this weapon you have. So the Artifice's real use is its stockpile trait, which is its secondary trait, which is funny because normally whenever I'm reviewing weapons, I tell you guys all the time secondary traits really mean jack shit unless it's stockpile. Now, something very interesting about the Artifice, besides the fact that its epic trait builds on something that doesn't work inside of Zombies, is it's a 3-round burst. And this really caught me by surprise because there's seemingly no clear indication inside of the Quartermaster collection or inside of the Mark II hack or inside of the Mark II prototype lab that basically says this is a 3-round burst. The only way to really see it is when you have the weapon equipped inside of your loadout, and then the description itself would actually say it's a 3-round burst. And I find it kind of weird that Infinity Ward decided to make the Atlas go from a fully automatic ballistic light machine gun to a 3-round burst ballistic light machine gun, and then make no clear indication inside of the prototype lab or inside the Mark II prototype lab that basically says that it's going from full auto to a burst weapon. Or it could be retarded and they do make it very obvious, but I personally did not find it inside of the prototype or Mark II section of weapons. Now, before we get into the performance, I gotta say I'm not too big of a fan of them going from full auto to 3-round burst. Normally whenever you do that, regardless of whatever the weapon is, especially with stockpile thrown on, you would think that ammo conservation and regulation is much better, which it kind of is, but at the same time I feel like the essence of the Atlas and what I loved about the base Atlas so much was basically taken from me, and I can't enjoy the benefits of stockpile, which is something that the base Atlas always needed, because then I would have to play with the epic, and I'm not a fan of it being a 3-round burst. And it's not like I'm not a fan of burst firing weapons, I'm just saying that this fire mode does not work out for the Atlas specifically. It just doesn't feel right, and I like the way that it initially was. But getting into the fire rate now, obviously as I said, it's a 3-round burst. There's a little bit of a firing delay, not so much. You can spam the trigger, but it's not to the same caliber of, let's say, the Raijin, where if you wanted to spam the Raijin, you can keep doing that. The Atlas has a little bit of a second delay, maybe a half a second. Nothing too bad. I feel like they did this for balancing purposes, specifically inside of multiplayer. And as we all know, anything done inside of multiplayer carries over to Zombies because Infinity Ward doesn't pay too much attention to the changes that they make to weapons. The Atlas's fire rate is also not on a cycle, meaning if you hold down the trigger, it won't keep firing. You have to manually press the trigger every time you want to fire the gun, which I know for some people is kind of a turn off, but I personally like it that way, as it doesn't lead to you accidentally overfiring or wasting too many bullets on Zombies when you don't actually need to. Now, the last thing I want to talk about in regards to this epic variant is the sight. As you guys have noticed, it has a very unique sight. This is a sight that comes with this epic variant, which is supposed to increase target acquisition, ultimately allowing you to see your targets better, which I will say you can when it comes to maps like Attack the Radioactive Thing or Beast from Beyond, where you actually have change shoes and you can't see through that cryogenic cloud, or if you have the fire element, you can't see through that fire element, or if you're looking through gas grenades or anything like that. It definitely does increase visibility, and you can't see enemies coming from a mile away. You can also see enemies or zombies spawning into the map, which is pretty cool, but still, I mean, do you really need to see all that inside of Zombies? It's not really like a life or death situation. Also, something worth noting when it comes to the sight, you can actually zoom in 3 times or a couple of times, and as you start zooming in more and more, your weapon gets more and more idle sway, which dewdrops does not fix, by the way. Dewdrops does not affect idle sway. It does affect weapon recoil, but because it's a 3-round burst, weapon recoil isn't that much of a problem anyways. But all in all, as far as the Atlas Artifice goes, I personally feel like it's a downgrade. I mean, I was a fan of the base Atlas's iron sights, which is now removed. This is the default sight that you actually get. And I always had fun with the base Atlas. The Artifice is kind of like, fuck, why am I getting this weapon again? So it's kind of a downgrade. It's going from a gun that I really enjoyed playing with and enjoyed picking up to a gun that I always immediately put back in the wheel or switch out for a wall weapon. I think that Artifice is kind of like the Scout at this point. It's not really worthy of being an epic variant. It does provide a difference in its fire rate, which is something that obviously the Scout doesn't do, but its selling point is not the fire rate difference. Its selling point is its improved smoke kit, which inside of zombies doesn't do jack shit. I personally, like, if I had to rate this weapon on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd still give it like a 7.5 to 8, because I personally am a huge fan of the Atlas itself, but the Artifice is, to me personally, a little bit of a downgrade. So far, you guys, I would not just give two shits about this gun. I mean, no fire rate buff, no damage buff, nothing really special or worthy of aiming for as far as the Artifice is concerned. But anyways, guys, I think that's gonna go ahead and wrap it up for today's video. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Do you guys have the Artifice? What are your guys' thoughts and opinions on it? Do you guys play with it? Like I said, after this, I'll probably just switch out and go back to the base Atlas. But let's talk down in the comment section below. If you guys enjoyed today's video, and don't mind by doing me a huge favor, drop a like, share it if you found it helpful at all, as well as subscribe if you guys are brand new to the channel for new videos coming each and every day. If you guys are already subscribed, why not hit that notification button? I mean, YouTube's shit for notifying. Maybe even follow me over on Twitter. That's where a lot of notifications nowadays are coming from. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and until tomorrow, guys, I'll see you all later.